Well, it's time for our exciting weekly segment highlighting some of our aspiring local artists.
Now this week I was lucky enough to talk to John Neral, an author, a coach, and even a bowler. Take a look.
John, thank you so much for being here today. So very happy to have you here. Tell me a little about what you do.
So Grant, thanks for having me here today. I'm an executive and career transition coach, and I help specifically mid-career professionals find a job that they'll love or love the job that they have.
And so you've written some books, right? Because that's why we have you here today. You said you've written some books. So tell me a little bit about how many you've written and what they're about.
Yeah, so I've written 2 books. The first book is called Show Up, 6 Strategies to Lead a More Energetic and Impactful Career. And then the second book, and my most recent one, is called Your Mid-Career GPS, 4 Steps to Figuring Out What's Next. And I wrote that book specifically for that mid-career professional who really is thinking about trying to get a new job, specifically whether they're looking to level up internally or they're looking to go outside of their current organization. Look, there's a lot of information that's out there. I just wanted to provide one kind of resource for them that would help them with everything from their resume right through their interviewing.
What inspired you to start these books?
I had a 25-year career in education, and a huge part of that was working with adults and helping them just be better at their jobs. And so when I started my coaching practice full time, what I found out was that there were just a lot of people out there who were really unhappy and unsatisfied in their careers. And honestly, their biggest fear was that they were just going to be stuck. And so that's really how a lot of my work developed, specifically with mid-career professionals, was just helping them navigate toward whatever was next. And so whether it be something with their resume or how they're interviewing, but also just around what do they really want to do? And that's so I was a middle school mathematics teacher for 14 years. And I remember at around like year 11, I was teaching a lesson on how to multiply fractions, and this voice inside of my head creeped in and was like, John, you can't do this for the rest of your career. I loved my time in the classroom and I loved teaching, but I felt pulled. I felt pulled to do something different or something more. And so that was my mid-career moment. And it was from that moment when I started listening to what was going on inside my head and figuring out why I was a little bit unhappy and unsatisfied. If we truly believe we're 100% responsible for our careers, we take those action steps to figure out whatever is next. And that was a huge driving force for the work I get to do today.
It's time now for our exciting weekly segment highlighting some of our aspiring local artists.
I was lucky enough to talk to John Neral, an author, coach, and even a bowler. He'll be bowling at the Crystallines PPA coming up. Take a look.
You have a coaching practice, so can you tell me a little about what you do? What type of, is it along the lines of the books you've written, or is it any deeper than that? Do you go into life coaching? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the great part about coaching is that a lot of times they all just kind of meld together. So typically if we are unhappy at work, there are some things in our lives that we're unhappy as well because things are just out of balance. Typically, the way people come to me and we start our work is around navigating that particular career transition. So we talk a lot about what they want to do, what are their strengths, what are the things they don't want to do. I often frame it as, what's your genius? What's the thing that you're really, really good at, better than anybody else, that you want to leverage into a new position because that's what's going to make you more happy. And so I'll help them with their resume, their LinkedIn, their networking, their interviewing. But Grant, one of the biggest things, and it's one of the largest obstacles that people have to overcome as a reporter, you'll get this, which is they just don't know how to tell their story well, right? It's getting them to tell their story from a place of value and service that gets the person on the other end interested in who they are and what they do, rather than just finding them interesting.
I want to turn a little bit to bowling. So I want to know, you bowl in your, is it a hobby or is it an actual sport that you take very seriously?
No, it's actually a sport that I take very seriously. I was very fortunate that at 5 years old, my dad put a bowling ball in my hand and I absolutely loved it.
So the the bowling tournaments, because I've never been to one, and so I
Okay.
don't really know much. So
You gotta
tell me a little bit,
come.
yeah, I do. Like, tell me a little bit about the Crystal Lanes ones for those who might want to go check it out. Like, how does it work? Is it multiple days?
Yeah.
Tell me a little about that.
It is. So Friday afternoon is a practice session for all the competitors. In the evening, it's a pro-am, which is a doubles event. So people get to come and bowl with 3 different professionals. We help them with their game. It's like a mini tournament, if you will. But Saturday is when the actual tournament starts. Basically, over the course of a weekend, you're looking somewhere around 16 to 20 games of actual competition, not counting all the time that you're practicing and everything. So without question, it is a sport. I often say that try going to bowl for 3 days and bowl 8 games a day, and then tell me how sore you are on day 4, and we'll talk about how it's a sport.
I know. I grew up show jumping horses, and everyone, growing up, I was like, oh, that's not a sport. And I was like, yes, it is. And it's in the Olympics. So you can calm down.
Yes.
Imagine riding your horse around. I totally get that. So, but is that something spectators can come to?
Absolutely. Yeah. We love having spectators in, especially after everything with the pandemic. So we love having fans come and just watch and cheer us on and everything. And that the Pro-Am on Friday night is also a great way for people to come out. If they're looking for more information, just contact Crystal Lanes directly on how to get involved with that.
What is something that you've learned maybe from some of your guests on either your podcast or coaching? Is there something that you've taken away from that as well? Like, what do you take away from them?
The biggest takeaway is really owning your story. Everybody's career path is messy. Mine certainly was. I went from being a church organist, middle school mathematics teacher, to being an executive and career transition coach. We all have those bumps. We all have those turns in our career. And so it's just part of the process.
John, any parting words that you can share with us? Anything about your business, what you do, your coaching, bowling, anything that you'd like to leave with us?
Yeah, so thanks, Grant. So if you are watching this and you're feeling a little stuck in your career and you're wondering whatever is next, would absolutely love to talk to you, or even just to have you come visit my website at johnneral.com. And also, you can get some free information there, right there on the homepage of the website, to help you with your career transition. And Grant, I also host a podcast. It's called the Mid-Career GPS Podcast. Would love for people to go and listen to that. So you'll get information on how to navigate your career transition, also with some leadership topics, and certainly love talking to guests about them sharing their career journey and their lessons learned, so we all don't make the same mistakes, and we get to learn from other people's learnings.